Good job. And we are live. Welcome to Annie's Vlogs Weekly Live, or welcome back. My name is Annie, and we go live every Saturday morning from... I just wanted to make sure my microphone was on. We go live every Saturday morning from 10 to 10:30 Pacific time. Today I have Lucy with me. Hey, look here. Look. And the topic that was chosen in the poll on the YouTube page and Instagram was hormones. So while we're waiting to have people come join the live, I tried something different this time. I put the poll up on the Wednesday because I thought that if I put the poll up on the Wednesday, people would have time to vote. And then on the Friday, I could post a reminder that we have the live, but the reminder would include the topic. I think I'm going to stick to my old way of doing things because I find like Wednesday, there wasn't a lot of people that actually saw the story or even I don't know. I feel like Wednesday was maybe not a day where people were active online, if that makes sense. And then things happen in my life that I didn't have time yesterday to put the reminder with the topic of choice. So I'm going to go back to posting the poll on the Thursday, and then we're going to go live on the Saturday morning. So here I have my Indian ringneck Lucy with me. Last week we had Olive, my black Cape conure, because, well, we were talking about black Cape conures, but this time the topic that was chosen was hormones. It is kind of this time of the year. Hormonal behavior starts with birds and parrots around spring, and then sometime goes into the summer. So lots of people, I guess, wants to know how to prevent this, or what's the deal with hormones and birds and parrots. So a couple of things that I have lined up here that I want to talk about in regards to hormones. But if you have any questions, put that in the chat, and then I'll answer those questions. And let me know if you're a bird person, if you have parrots, birds, any other type of birds, pet birds. Let me know. I'd like to know as well. All right, so let's start. Let's talk about what's the problem with hormones with birds or parrots, because some people will say, well, what's the problem? What's the big deal? Well, the big deal is that it can lead to all kinds of problems. So it goes from, and I have some notes here so that I don't forget anything, but it goes from aggression, frustration, being territorial, and all of this progress into being aggressive, egg laying for females, and it can become a chronic issue. And if they don't have the right diet to be able to lay eggs safely, like a lack of calcium, because they need a different diet when they lay eggs, then it can create egg bounding, that we call. So the egg gets stuck there and the bird can die. There's a male bird. Oh. Yeah. Okay. So it can create a lot of issues, but most of people, the problem that they have is that their bird get really aggressive, or if they're bonded with their favorite humans, they get aggressive towards other people. They will attack, they will bite, And usually it's random. People will say, well, my bird started biting me so randomly. I don't know what's going on. It's not always hormones, but it could be. So the thing is, there are ways to prevent this. It's easier to prevent than deal with a bird that is super hormonal, that is laying eggs like crazy, and to backtrack this and to try to solve this issue. It's better to prevent it than to get there. So there's different ways you can do this. And I'm going to give you an example. I have two budgies. I have a male and a female, and they both live in the same cage, and they are lovers. They are bonded. They are always together, but they never laid eggs, and they never mated because I assure that the conditions are not ideal for them to have babies. So, and then also there's a difference between male behavior and female behavior. There's a few differences. What do you want? You want a treat? Okay, spin. You're going to get a treat. No, do a better treat. Do a better spin. No, that's not a spin. You get distracted with people. Spin again. Okay, you're going to get that treat. That's okay. All right. To be able to avoid this issue, there's a lot of different things you can do. But if you think about what triggers hormones or hormonal behaviors in the wild, so different things. So, and that's going to help you to figure out what to do or to remember what to do. Oh, are you okay, baby? To remember to figure out what to do in your situation. So before I get into all the tips and tricks on how to avoid hormonal triggers or hormonal behavior, let's think about what triggers mating in the wild in the first place. So the birds will usually, the parrots will usually start mating when food gets abundant, so they can get lots of food because they can change their diet to be able to produce baby and feed their babies. When the days gets longer, because again, they know that when the days get longer, the food gets more abundant. What else also, of course, so those are the main two things I want to say when the weather also gets warmer. That's why usually the hormonal behavior will get triggered when the season change or the temperature changes, the amount of hours of light outside changes. And this is when it triggers because it's how their biological clock is ticking. It's nature, right? So you're trying to avoid natural triggers, if you will. And then there's other things also that triggers. Now, there are some parrots that whatever you're going to do, they will get triggered more easily. Some birds, they just get hormonal more easily than others, if that makes sense. Lucy here used to be a breeding bird. And since I got her, she's very scared of humans and she doesn't have a companion. So I have no issue with her, besides the fact that she's a little bit protective and territorial over her cage. But that, I think, is just because she was a breeding bird. So that's why she's like that. Other than that, I don't see any hormonal behavior with her. Are you okay, baby? Come. You want to come here? Come. Good job. She's really scared of humans too, right? So it took me a while to be able to kind of tame-ish her because she's never really had good interactions or even interactions with humans before. just to breed, really. Okay, so now that I've been talking about naturally what triggers hormonal behaviors with parrots, let's see what we can do in our home, in our homes to prevent that. So first off, if we're talking about when, are you okay? When the days get longer, it's a big trigger. So what you want to do is you want to keep the days as short as possible, in the sense that you want to keep them like winter short, kind of. So the best way to do that is to make sure that your bird has 12 hours of sleep, uninterrupted and in the dark, every single day. There's different ways you can do that. And for example, if I take real quick here, what I do for my birds is I have a bird room with blackout curtains that I close, and then I have lights on timers. So they slowly turn off. I have 3 lamps in that room, and they turn off one after the other one. And I close the door, and they get their 12 hours. Having said that, during the week, because I work full time, sometimes it's a little bit hard to get that full 12 hours, but I will never go below 11 hours. When you go into 10, 9, 8 hours of sleep, you're getting in breeding mode. So you want to avoid this as much as possible. So there's different ways, like I said, you can do this, but lights on timers, having their own room is really, really helpful. One thing also, I find more with females, the thing you want to avoid is having your parrot have a 12-hour of sleep with a cover, so covering their cages. I find with female more than male, it has an impact because it gets nesty. So it creates like a nest, and at the end, in the morning, you're undoing their nest. So you're creating not only like a hormonal trigger to the bird, the female bird is in a nest, but also you're destroying the nest every single day. So you're creating that frustration. So you really want to avoid this, especially for females. So that's why blackout curtains and lights on timers is the absolute best. If you cannot do that because you don't have the space to have a room just for your bird, you can have a sleeping cage. It's a smaller cage. They're just gonna, oh, what's going on? It's a smaller cage that you use just for sleeping, and you put that cage in a place where you know your bird is not going to be your bird's sleep will not get interrupted, like in a closet or in a smaller room or in a bathroom or whatever. And you just put, oh, okay, you're done with me, and you just put your bird in that room in that tiny cage for sleeping purposes only for that 12 hours. Okay, so we talked about 12 hours of sleep. The other thing that you have to be careful with that could be a trigger is food. So when they get a lot of food in nature, when they get a lot of food, a lot of fat food, this screams, okay, we can make babies now because we have lots of food, we won't starve, we're gonna be able to feed our birds. Lucy, do you wanna come see me? Come on, baby. No, she's over there. Okay. So this is how their body works, is that, okay, lots of food, let's make babies. So I'm not saying you need to starve your bird, but don't give them more than what they need. And be careful with fat food. So lots of breeders, they're just gonna give like, yes, veggies, because all birds need this, but they're gonna have a higher fat diet. So more seeds, more nuts. You really wanna be careful with that. Seeds and nuts should not be in their regular diets. Generally speaking, it should only be for treats for training. Olive, Lucy, I was calling her Olive. Lucy, come on, baby. Come on, come with me. Do you want a treat? Do you want a treat? Come in. Come on, baby. Come on. Come on. Oh, good job. So, oh, you want to go on your stand? Okay, you can go. Go ahead. Yeah, so be careful with that. They need to have a low fat diet, low sugar, I will say as well, low calorie, really. And the other thing is your bird doesn't need a high fat and high caloric diet because they don't fly all day long against the wind for miles and miles and miles to find food. You just give them food. So they don't need as much as they would need in the wild. So diet is really important. Low caloric diet. Don't starve your bird. Just be careful. And I do have some videos on my page also that talks about diet. So what time is it? Okay, we still have a little bit of time. Yeah, I have to take my car to the mechanic today. So I can't stay more than half an hour today on the live. That's the thing I had to deal with this week. Anyways. All right. The other thing okay, so those are mostly like the natural triggers, right, in the nature. So food and the amount of daylight that they get. Now, there's other things that triggers hormonal behavior with your birds is sometimes object. So sometimes there's some parrots that they will use toys. And I mean, I don't know how to say this on YouTube so that I don't get censored or get in trouble. But if you know what I mean, yeah, they'll use some toys. So you want to avoid these toys if they cannot play with them properly, meaning if they're not destroying those toys, if they're doing something else with it, you need to get rid of that toy because that toy or that object became a trigger. Mirrors in particular, mirrors are terrible for this because the bird doesn't make a difference. It doesn't know that it's a mirror. So they just think that it's another bird, right? So, and then they get frustrated. Anyways, it's a big problem. No mirrors for your birds. Please, no mirrors. And then be careful also how you touch your bird. What I mean by that, Lucy, what are you doing? Come on, baby. Come on. Come on. Want a treat? Come on, baby. Come on. Come on. You should only, come on. Come on. Come on. Come on, baby. Come on. I got your treat. Come on. You can do it. You can do it. Come on, baby. No? Oh, she's scared. Come on. You can do it. Come on. Okay. Yeah. We've been working on recall and stuff. So Lucy here, she was completely untamed when I got her. So you should only touch your bird on the head or like the base here of the neck. Not under the wings, I can't demonstrate with Lucy because she won't even allow me to touch her. Like I can try to scratch her head, but see, like she's like, what are you doing? I don't like that. Yeah, she doesn't like to be touched. She's scared of hands. So it's already pretty good that she's actually landing on my hand when I recall her. So no stroking like this. Don't touch the back, the under the wings, yes, you can train your bird to be able to extend the wings, to look at the wings if there's nothing like wrong with it. Olive, sometimes she has a trick that I flip her over and she's like laying flat, her back flat to my hand. But that's a trick, and it's not something that I do constantly. So because all these things, the way you touch your bird under the wings, the back, the closer to the tail, those are all things that in nature would be allowed only by their mate. You don't want to do this because then you become the mate, which is not cool. Because your bird will get hormonal and frustrated and eventually can get to egg laying, because if they're too bonded with you, they think you're the mate, especially if it's, if it's a female. If it's a male, total different story, but it can create a whole lot of different issues like frustration, attacking you randomly, all kinds of stuff, or attacking other people in the household because you're their person. Anyway, so you want to stay away from this. So the only place you should touch your bird is on the head and the base of the neck here. Some little head scratches, that's totally fine, because they would allow in the wild any birds to do this, because the reason why they do this is that they have pin feathers, right, when they molt. And those are very itchy. And sometimes birds, they will help each other on the head because they're not able to reach their own head, to help them removing like those pin feathers and everything, and like the part that is around the feather that creates that pin feather. So they preen each other, right? But the only bird that would touch other part of the bird would be the mate, and you don't want to do that. So those are mainly the things. There can be other triggers for sure, but those are mainly the ones. And again, from a bird to another one, the triggers are going to be different as well. I'm just looking to see if there's any. Okay. If you have any questions, just put them in the chat regarding, if you're a bird person, if you have parrot birds, pet birds, whatever, please let me know. I'd like to know as well. Okay, Lucy, you want to come here, baby? Come on. Come on, baby. We're going to talk about the behaviors, how we can see if our birds is having some hormonal behaviors. Come on, baby. Come on. Do you want a treat? Come on. You can do it. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. I have your treat here. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Or you want to come here? Do you want to come here instead? Come here. Oh, good job. Good job, baby. Okay. So, it's very different. It can look very different from a bird to another one. So I've been talking about aggression. So yeah, sometimes, not always, but sometimes if your bird starts biting you out of the blue for no particular reason, it could be because they're being hormonal and frustrated. If they attack randomly other people out of the blue for no reason, no particular reason that you can think of, it could be because they're being hormonal. Obviously, if your bird is laying an egg, yeah, I don't have to explain that one. Now, if your bird becomes a chronic egg layer, there are some hormonal treatment to go to the vet. It's like a hormone shot or whatever to help them. They can pluck themselves as well sometimes when they get really hormonal. Female also, if a female's plucking, and I mean male too, but plucking could be a problem. Weird behavior. Again, I don't know how to say this on YouTube without being censored, but weird behavior, that wondering what your bird is doing. Yeah, most likely hormonal. And then it looks different from every bird's really. So if you see also your bird, oh, here she goes. Now Lucy is gone to the bird room. I saw her fly away. If you see your bird, especially if you have like a bigger parrot, I find, if you see your female parrots, if you see them like laying low, their chest low, and then having their butt sticking out or backing out onto something, an object, like a piece of fabric, or on the couch, or in the bottom of the cage in the corner. Yeah, hormonal behavior. Oh, I totally forgot to talk about two things. Okay, I'm just going to take this because I don't want to forget about the other thing. Oh my gosh, I already forgot. Okay, it will probably come back to me. I can't believe it. Okay, so fabric, hut. Oh yeah, they kind of go together. Anything. Okay, hut, boxes, fabric, nesting material, shredded paper. Those are all things that you would want to avoid. Now, I do have shredded papers in my foraging toys, but when so what I do in my foraging toys, I'm going to put like treats or pellets or whatever. And then if it's like a little like scoop or whatever, and then I'm going to put shredded paper in it so that they have to dig and remove the shredded paper and find the food, right? So encouraging foraging. But when that paper falls down in the bottom of the cage, because I have 3 females. I have 1 male and 3 females. So my budgies, a male, a female. My conure is a female, and my Indian ringneck is a female. So I want to make sure there's nothing that looks like a nest. So as soon as the paper falls at the bottom of the cage, I just get rid of it. I remove it because I don't want my parrots to think that, oh, nest, oh, let's make babies. Because a female can still lay egg even if they don't have a mate, a partner, right? And again, it's not good for them, especially if they're not on a specific diet for this. It's hard on their bodies. If they don't have enough calcium, which they have regular calcium, but they don't have the extra that they need for producing eggs, it can be very dangerous for their own health. And then like I said at the beginning, they can get egg bound, so that egg gets stuck, and then they can die if nothing is being done about this. Yeah. So nothing that is nasty. And then the other reason why you don't want any hut, the little hut like this, little birds love that. Conures, and I know conures love birds, budgies, cockatiel. I mixed the French and the English word for that one. Cockatiel. They love these little huts. But the problem with these little huts, again, it's a nest. So it's going to trigger hormones. They're like, oh, I have a nest. I'm going to make babies. And then, yeah, all kinds of issues. Because again, sometimes also when, most of the time when the female will lay egg, they will get territorial, protective over their nest. Even when there's no eggs, they will be protective over their nest. And then they can get aggressive. All this eventually leads to aggression. Oh, that's Lucy calling me. She's like, come get me. She like, seriously, dude, you can fly. Just fly back to me. Okay, so we still have just a couple of minutes left. So we're going to end it on that. Anything that looks like a nest, get rid of it. You do not, first, they don't need a nest to sleep. They don't need a bed. They sleep on a perch. That's what birds do in the wild. The only time they go in a hole or in a nest or in a box or whatever, it's when they are making babies, when they want to have babies. So avoid this as much as possible. Just going to make sure there's no okay, a few high, but that's it. Okay. And then, yeah, so the secret really here is to avoid those hormonal behaviors, those hormonal triggers with your parrot first. Once you're already into the situation where, oh, another thing that I forgot that I want to mention. Another behavior that you can see, especially with male birds, is that they feed objects. So they regurgitate food on objects. That's Lucy. She's like, can we end this? We're almost done. And I need to bring my car to the shop too. So, but I want to end on this. Yeah, especially males, because they feed the female, and this is how they show, I will be a good father, right? So they feed the female to say, I'm going to be a great father. I'm going to be able to help you with those babies. Please be my mate, right? So if they regurgitate on objects, on you, on toys, on whatever, hormonal behavior. And that's pretty advanced too. So you want to cut that down. Best things, 12 hours of sleep and no fat food or high caloric, like really sugar-y, like lots of sugar in food. You want to be as healthy as possible, vegetables and healthy pellets. So I will end it here. Hope this helps, and once this is downloaded tomorrow, you'll be able to rewatch it in replay on my channel. I'm going to leave it up there, and don't forget to subscribe and look for the poll next week on Thursday and or Friday to vote for the topic of your choice for next week live. All right, have a good week. Bye guys.